Hello and welcome back to the Point of Books podcast. My name is LaShawn and my reading life is chaotic. I have decided, friends, that I am the problem. That's it. I have started and not finished no less than 6 books in the last 12 days, and I've read 4. One of those was actually a reread. I don't know if it's that it's the beginning of the year or that if it's just the jumble that is my brain because of, all the things going on in the world. But I have been unable to focus enough to get all the way through a book. Seriously. Like I am at 77% of one book and like at 56% at another. And I just stopped. And I don't think they will be DNFs because I really want to know what happened. I'm interested, but evidently not enough. So I'm struggling. I am on the reading struggle bus. I want to know that those 2 books that I'm talking about, they're 2 random romances, which normally are just designed to get a book read for me because there are several other books I want to go ahead and start, but I feel like I can't because my attention span is just not there. So I'm trying to wait until I settle and I can give my full attention to all of the books that I want to read. But right now, yes, I'm in a slight slump after finishing Tender as the Flesh. And I think I just need one good book, hopefully, to pull me out of it. So anyway, while I wait to be pulled out of the unfinished to the unable to finish a book abyss, I want to talk about my most anticipated romance novels for 2026. Now, it is no secret I read a lot of romance, mainly because it's fun, it's sexy, and I know that no matter what, it will end in a happily ever after. It's like a no lift. I don't have to even think about it. But wait, while we are here on the topic of romance, I really want to put my foot down about something. I swear to God, some folks get on the internet and just say anything. And I attribute this to a lot of people who are new to the genre, who are coming to us from book adaptations or crossovers from another genre. But I'm just going to point this out. Romance novels always, 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 always have a happily ever after. If you don't believe me, per the Romance Writers of America, which is, their organization, there are 2 basic elements that comprise every romance novel. 2, just 2. The first one is a central love story. The main plot centers around individuals falling in love and struggling to make the relationship work. A writer can include as many subplots as they want, as long as the love story is the main focus of the novel. The second thing that all romance novels have is an emotionally satisfying and optimistic ending, friends. In a romance, the lovers who risk and struggle for each other and their relationship are rewarded with emotional justice and unconditional love. Romance novels may have any tone or style, be set in any place or time, or have varying levels of sensuality, like ranging from sweet to extremely hot. These settings and distinctions of plot and subgenres within romance fictions, like, all of that is a subplot. But it's all ends in a happily ever after. So yes, you can have a story with romance in it that does not end in a happily ever after, but that, my friends, is what they call women's fiction or literary fiction. And let me give you a few examples. An example would be a book I read last year, Slanting Towards the Sea by Lidije Hilje. That book centered around a couple and a pretty intense love story, but there was not a happily ever after ending for the couple together. That book is literary fiction with a romance subplot, basically. Wuthering Heights is not a romance novel. And I'll come back to this book later in this year. But my goodness, please, this is my PSA. Do not go to that movie adaptation expecting a rom-com or even a romance. That is some psycho dark romance. Spoiler, everyone dies, okay? I'll even argue with you that Outlander is not technically a romance novel, especially not the first one. Like, if you take out the romance, there is still a really good story there. Like, the central plot in future ones, like in the second one especially, is really around their romance. But that first book, no, because they don't end up together. You know what I mean? So there's that. In conclusion, friends, there are plenty of other genres for you to read if you don't want a happy ending, if you want that angst and you want that where you don't know if they're happy or not, romance is not for you. Okay? All right. So now that my tangent is done, let's go ahead and talk about my personal most anticipated romance novels of 2026. So I'm going to cover in no particular order the most anticipated romance books that I am looking forward to this year. All right, the first one is Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. This one is out on May 5th and it follows best friends since childhood, Frankie and George. On the eve of Frankie's wedding, they don't even know if they are still speaking until George shows up for the wedding dinner. Hours later, her fiance disappears, leaving only a note. Heartbroken, Frankie retreats home until George convinces her to take the honeymoon with him instead. 1 week in a glorious location becomes their last chance to save their friendship or finally admit it was always something more. Now, I love how that sounds. Carly Fortune is on my automatic read and buy list since about her second novel. I didn't like her first one. I mean, I liked it, but since the second one, I've been hooked every year. So I look forward to her books. It's like beginning of summer or spring for me. The second book that is on my list is A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. Talia Hibbert is the author of the Brown Sisters trilogy, the books like Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Take a Hint, Danny Brown. Anyway, this book is out on March 3rd, and let's see what it's about. Ruth Kaba has spent years hiding behind her reputation as Ravenwood's picky black sheep. Lonely, guarded, and determined to stay safe, then Evan Miller arrives, and all the calm and confidence and unsettling kindness refusing to be scared off by her walls. As their connection deepens and ghosts from Ruth's past resurface, she must decide whether to finally trust someone with her heart or retreat before hope cost her everything. I just love her books. Love her books. Sign me up. She always features like neurodivergent characters too. So it's just really good if that is something that you are looking for in your reading. Number 3 is In Her Own League by Liz Thomford, which is out March 3rd. This is the author of the Windy City series, one of my favorite romance series. They are all sports romances. This one kicks off with Emmett, who was the father figure to three of the characters in the last series. So I'm sure we'll see some of our faves in it, which really has me excited. Let's see what it's about. Reese Remington has fought her entire life to earn her place as the first female owner in Major League Baseball. Brilliant, driven, and under relentless scrutiny, she can't afford mistakes, especially not the kind with her team's infuriatingly charming field manager, Emmett Montgomery. Emmett never wanted a new boss, but as sparks fly on and off the field, their clash of control and chemistry threatens everything Reese has worked for, and neither one of them seems to be able to stay in their lane. I love a good Liz Tomford book. I've been looking forward to her books forever. They're just some of my favorites. You know, when your favorites write a book, you read it. Next up on my list is Catch Her If You Can, out January 20th. This is a Tessa Bailey book. She is hit or miss for me sometimes, but like in this series, this Big Shot series, there was I think 2 books that I was kind of iffy on, but the last 2 have really, done it for me. And I really like the last book in this series, the 4th one. So I'm already invested in these characters that this book is about because they were in that one. So anyway, Yanker catchy Madden Donahue has loved Eva Mitchell since high school, but the burlesque club owner has always kept him at arm's length. When Eve suddenly becomes guardian to her sister's kids, Madden offers a solution she can't refuse: a quiet, practical marriage for the benefits. What begins as a secret arrangement quickly turns into something real, forcing Eve to choose between protecting her reputation and trusting the love she's always tried to deny. I love a marriage of convenience trope. I almost always love it. I'm hoping this one will be really good. I need him to say something along the lines of "get your hands off my wife" or something to that effect. It just does it for me. So I have high hopes for this one. High hopes. It's simple. It'll be basic. It'll have lots of smut. What more can you ask for? The next book on my list is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. This one is out March 24th. And let's see what it's about. One late night ride home changes everything for Larissa, just not in the way she expects. She didn't choose Chris, but months later, He's her closest friend, co-parent to their chaotic rescue Yorkie, and the person who makes life finally feel easy. There's only one problem. She's dating his best friend. As Chris quietly falls in love from the sidelines, the question becomes heartbreakingly simple. How can something feel so right and still be so wrong? I'm hoping that Abby is setting us up for lots of yearning for most of this entire book. I'm here for it. I cannot wait. I am set, as they like to say. The next book on my list is Dolly All the Time by Annabel Monaghan. This one is out on May 26th. And let's see. Problem solver Dolly Brick doesn't believe in needing anyone until she returns home to save her family's house and meets freshly heartbroken Stuart Whitfield. What starts as a fake dating favor turns into something far messier as public appearances blur into stolen moments and unexpected chemistry. Dolly has survived everything on her own, but trusting Stuart might be the hardest risk she's ever taken. Spoiler, I have about 25% left in this book. It is really, really good, and it is also one of those books that I'm stuck on. Annabel Monaghan tends to be hit or miss for me, but this one is really, really good. And I don't know why I stopped it. I think I got distracted by something new and just never went back to it, but I will before it comes out, and I will let you know how it ends up. The next book on my list is Score. This one is by Kennedy Ryan and it's out May 18th. You never get over your first love. And for Verity Hill and Wright Monk Bellamy, forgetting is impossible. More than a decade after a devastating breakup, they're forced back together to create a buzzy Harlem Renaissance biopic. She writing the script, he composing the score. With Oscar buzz building, old wounds resurface and buried feelings ignite. The question isn't just whether they can finish the film, but whether they can finally heal what they broke. I own, but have not read the first book in this series, Real. As a matter of fact, it's behind me right here. And that just proves right there that I could just pull that off my shelf randomly behind me because I forgot it was there, that I have books at home and I need to stop buying them. Okay? The next book on my list is The Misconnection by Tia Williams. This is my most anticipated book of the year so far. Casting agent Sasha Cruz can spot the one anywhere, except when it comes to her own love life. After sparks fly with a mystery man on a flight to Paris, she loses him without a name or number. Then accidentally launches a global manhunt by emailing her entire company. With a brooding detective by her side and a romance in the air, Sasha must decide whether the fate really sits in CF. That one is out on June. So it's going to be my first book of the summer, I'm saying. The next book on my list is Queen of Lombard Street by Lisa Kleypas, and it is out on October the 20th. This is a last minute addition to the list simply because it's Lisa Kleypas. Lisa Kleypas is an old school romance novelist, and when people ask me to give them good historical romance series, I always go with her Wildflower series, followed closely by the Hathaway series. In fact, all of her series, even her standalones, even her contemporary romances are excellent, excellent, classic romance fodder. Her last book was out in 2021, and I thought she maybe had stopped writing because she was prolific. Like it was like a book a year, maybe 2 books a year. She was prolific, traditionally published. So to say that I am excited about this one is an understatement. I saw this online and I was like, I gotta have it. I don't even care what it's about. But let's tell you, in Victorian England, women can't even open their own bank accounts, except Rena Martin refuses to follow the rules. Together with her mentor, she builds the first all-women's bank, empowering working class families. But when her enigmatic butler, a secret detective, asks her to help expose her mentor's crimes, Raina must choose between justice, loyalty, and her dream. High stakes, clever schemes, and matters of the heart collide as she fights to reshape the future. If it wasn't clear, this is a historical romance, which I rarely get to read anymore because I've read most of the good ones. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about that one. But last but not least, Last but not least is Unrivaled by Rachel Reid, which is out on 9/29. This was just announced on Monday, and it is book number 7 in the Game Changer series. If you haven't heard about Heated Rivalry, you must be living under a rock. But in case you haven't, the Heated Rivalry series is a gay hockey male-male romance series. Features, wait, how many couples? 5 couples, including our main couple, Ilya and Shane. Ilya, the chaos demon that he appears in every book somehow, but every book literally is a foil for Ilya and Shane. And we thought we had their happily ever after the long game, which is my favorite book of the series. And not even for the sex. It's really the growth and the love of the characters, while one of them deals with mental health issues. And let's just say one of the characters is my favorite because of this book. Okay, it's Ilya. Yeah. The Chaos Demon is my favorite. But anyway, we saw last week that the book was coming and now the cover is live. And now we're getting another Shane and Ilya book, which I can't even be mad about, even though I was curious about another character that I thought maybe she'd pick up on next. But maybe she'll come back to him because obviously she's not done with this world. Anyway, in this book, we explore the aftermath of Shane and Ilya coming out, getting married, and now playing on the same team and what that means for them, hockey, and the world. Spoiler, it won't be easy because, of course, it won't. But I cannot wait. And because this is a romance novel, I know that there is a happily ever after, or at least a happy for now, because that's what Heated Rivalry was, really a happy for now. You didn't get, and then it wasn't to the long game. You're like, oh, they're going to be happy, happy, happy. So, but this is like voyeurism. Like we get to see exactly what really happened. All right. And that is the end of my list for now. I am sure there will be more announcements as the year goes on. I do know that Emily Henry, which is for me the queen of summer romance, like usually when her books come out, that means summer is starting. She does not have a new book out this year, but that could just be because they just adapted The People That We Met on Vacation for Netflix, which I have not watched. And I don't know if I'm going to. I feel like Heated Rivalry set the bar for me for book adaptations, and now I don't want nothing to do with nothing else. But I'll probably watch it simply because I can't help myself. And I've heard that they leave out a couple of things that I didn't like in the book. It's not my favorite Emory Henry book either, so maybe that's why I'm also reluctant to watch it. So we'll see. I'm disappointed that she's not having a new book that comes out this year, but I love that for her. I love a new book every year from my favorite authors, but I also love good books from my favorite authors. So I will wait patiently. And I'm also trying to tell myself that for Sarah J. Maas and the ACOTAR series, but I digress. Anyway, let's get into what's currently going on in my reading life. I just finished reading, as we established, nothing. Nothing at all. I'm blocked, but I'm trying to work through it instead of rereading my favorites like I am tempted to do. Excuse me. And not even the whole book. I'll remember like sections and read only those and then forgo another books. It's so sad. But I think the last book really threw me off. And this is my reminder that horror is not really my thing and that it puts me in a slump. So anyway, I'm currently reading. Let's talk about what I'm reading. For my physical book, I'm reading Immortal Dark by Tigges Girma. I think that's how you say it. Here it is right here. I just got this weekend, even though, yes, I had books at home, but I had Christmas money. I had Christmas money to spend. So I went and got it. And plus the girls at the bookstore assured me that it was really, really good. And it had also been recommended by my friend Aronica, who is my other book reading friend. So I said, let me go ahead and read it. Let me tell you what it's about. Orphan heiress Keaton Adane has always been hunted by a family legacy entwined with vampires. When her sister disappears, Keaton must infiltrate the elite Uxley University, face the cruel and magnetic vampire bound to her bloodline, and navigate a world full of dark power and deadly secrets. To save June, Keaton will risk everything, her life, her soul, and her heart, in a high-stakes game where love and blood are inseparable. I love the vibes of this one already, and I'm only a few pages in. I am curious which is rare these days. The author is an author of color, and I am been actively trying to read more fantasy books by Black authors with Black characters. So this is my foray into that. My Kindle book that I'm reading, because I read a physical book, a Kindle book, and I have an audiobook. So my Kindle book that I'm reading is We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark. Life in the Thorn District is a fight for survival, but RVL's world turns deadly when a vampire arrives with an impossible mission: kill the Emperor. To do it, she must survive the brutal sundering, navigate deadly conspiracies, and ally with two vampires, one who once broke her heart and the other the Emperor's sadistic son. With her brother's lives on the line and dark powers awakening within her, Arvel must unravel a web of secrets before it's too late. Think ancient Rome, but the emperor is a vampire. Gladiators and vampires. I'm really feeling it. I really am, even though I have already figured out one of the plot twists. And there's another that I'm curious to see how that one's going to go. But I have my suspicions. But that's not taking away from the book. No, it's like the anticipation of it is what's keeping me going. So again, I'm curious. I had no intention of even picking this one up, but I was bored and I did. And here we are. So, but at least I'm reading. At least I'm reading. I'm getting through it. It's another book with vampires. And I'm like, is this the year of the vampire? Because I haven't read books with vampires in like years. I usually avoid them. I'm really enjoying this. And for my audiobook, I am listening to Cultish by Amanda Montell. It came out in 2021, but I heard about it on a podcast I listened to, the Currently Reading podcast, and I'm fascinated. It's about the language around fanaticism. Like, I'm fascinated by cults. I mean, if you look at my Netflix or Hulu watch list, you will see a bunch of documentaries on cults. What interests me most about this book is that this is about the language that makes cults powerful. You know how you always say to yourself, like, oh, I would never. How did they believe when he said that? What's wrong? Or what makes them okay with this? Like, what are they saying to these people? This book explores like the verbal elements that gets people to join cults. So like evidently they all use the same language and this book is telling you what it is. All right. So next up, the next book I plan to read next is nothing. Until I finish one of these three books, I will read nothing. I mean, nothing. I'm going to finish what I start. If I have to hate read through it, I'm going to do it. Even though I said I wasn't going to do that, but I feel like I have to do it with this. I feel like otherwise I'm going to be stuck for the rest of the year. Remember, my goal is not to start another book until I finish one of the three. That is one of my bookish goals for the year. Hold me to it, friends. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. As always, if you have enjoyed listening, I'd love it if you would follow me on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. And if you have a minute, please think about leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or sharing the podcast on social media. It helps us grow and find new bookish friends. If you'd like to connect with me, you can email me at pornoverbookspod@gmail.com. And you can also connect with me on my personal IG, which is LaShawn Wiltz, and on Substack and TikTok at the same name. All right, friends. Thanks again for listening, and I will talk to you later. Bye.